Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Quebec Singh and I am going to cover in today's video how to apply for visitor visa or TRV visa, which is called temporary resident visa for Canada. And this video is going to divide it into two parts. Number one, I will tell all the requirements and the document required theoretically, and in the second video, which is going to come after a few days, I will tell you practically how to go to IRCC website and how to apply and how to upload document, so that you do not need to go to any consultant for any help and do not need to pay any money to the consultant. So stay on this video and have full information about visitor visa, and please do not forget to subscribe this channel and hit the like button as well. Let's begin the video. So guys, whenever you are coming in Canada on the purpose of visiting the country or just for temporary visit, or you are meeting the family and then you're going to go back to your home country, then you have to apply for visitor visa or TRV visa. So in February 2023, there were huge backlogs where a lot of applications were pending to process. So in February 2023, Canadian immigration said they're gonna clear all the backlog, and they did. They cleared a lot of backlog. I have seen a lot of people visa getting processed during the last couple of months, and they got the feedback for their visa. And Canadian government and IRCC has also given a flexibility to the visitor visa people who are coming here in Canada. They can find a work, and if they can find a valid work and they get an offer letter either through LMIA or LMIA exempt job, they can apply for work permit. So nowadays visitor visa of Canada getting more importance because Canadian government is providing more flexibility to the visitor visa people. They can come here, they can find a job, they can stay here, and later on they can apply for permanent residency. So you can apply visitor visa for various purposes, like if you are meeting with your family member or reunion of family, or you are attending any marriages in Canada, or it may be your close family member or your close friend, or maybe you are visiting your friend. And even though if you do not have someone in Canada, you can come Canada just for the purpose of tourists, for visiting few places in Canada. Now, the two most important question people generally ask me, and I have seen in the forum, like what would be the duration of visitor visa when someone apply, then what will be the length of visitor visa they will get. So it depends on your passport. Generally, Canadian immigration give a visitor visa multiple entries where the duration will be a 10-year, but if your passport is expiring before then 10-year, then you will get the visitor visa or TRV visa according to the expiry date of your passport. And in some cases, few people get a visitor visa just for a single entry, and many people get a visitor visa for multiple entries, which means if immigration officer is not enough convinced that after staying in Canada on temporary basis you will go back to your country, then they will give a visitor visa that is going to be a single entry visa, which means you can come to Canada and stay here on visitor visa, but then you have to go back, and if you want to come back again, then you have to reapply for visitor permit. And it's true, some people get a visitor visa, just a single entry visitor visa. That's sometimes disheartening, but it happens. It depends on visa processing officer. But I know most of the people get visitor visa that is multiple entries, where you can come to Canada and stay here for 6 months, and then you have to go back, and then after some period of time you can come back again on the same visitor visa. Moving further in the video, and we are going to talk about a very interesting point and critical and very important, so please pay attention on this. So this is proof of funds. So proof of funds I will divide into two parts. One part where when you will come in Canada and you do not have any connection, or you are not invited by any host. So let's say average monthly cost for one person in Canada is around $1,200, and this is average, so do not stick on to the average money. So let's say we just take for the safe side $2,000 as a monthly average cost for one person. And when you get visitor permit, then the maximum length you can stay in Canada is 6 months. So 2,000 multiplied by 6 months is $12,000. So you should have this money at least in your current account, or it's a liquid money which you should have to show in the proof of fund. So $12,000 is the benchmark. That what I can say. If you do not have any connection here, and if you are not invited by the host in Canada, and you are just coming by yourself, so please show liquid money, $12,000 minimum. You can show a little bit above, but I will recommend please do not go below $12,000. So the next point is what else you can show in the proof of fund. In a proof of fund, you can show if you have any investment, if you have any portfolio in stocks or ETF, or if you have any rental income, or if you have any LIC insurance policy, or if you have invested in some other areas. The reason I am saying you can show all these things in a proof of fund as well, along with your liquid money in your current account, is that because if you show enough proof of funds in your country, it's mean you have a great financial tie-up in your country, which helps visa officer to convince enough him or her, so that not only basic tie-ups, but you have a great financial tie-up. So in that case, if you own a home, just scan those paper and put it in your proof of fund as well, because as many as proof of fund you will show to visa officer, I'm not saying about liquid money. Liquid money is a different, which you have to show so that they can convince you have this liquid money for surviving in Canada. Apart from that, any investment, any rental income, or any Airbnb income, or if you have any investment in some other areas, please show that. That shows you have a great financial tie-ups in your country. Now let's move forward with the second part in the proof of fund, is that if you are invited by a family, friend, or someone or some host in Canada, and they're gonna take care of your financial, and they're gonna take care and they're gonna bear all the expenses which you're gonna do in Canada, in that case you need a proof of funds from that host. For example, if someone has invited me in Canada and that person is on work permit, then he has to submit T4s, he has to submit his status in Canada, and he has to submit his monthly salary slip if he's getting. He has to submit his tax paper, so that visa officer can analyze the person who is hosting you can bear his expenses or her expenses along with your expenses. So please do not forget to put financial document of the person who is hosting you. So the next supporting document for your visitor visa should be a proof of job. So in your country, if you are working somewhere, then you have to submit the proofs that you're working for any employer. If you are working in any government agencies, that is very good, because you can submit some authentic document. You can submit salary slip, you can submit some tax document which has been given by your employer. You can submit the offer letter by the employer. But if someone is working with the private industry, that is also okay. You can submit the contract if you are a contract worker. You can submit salary slip, you can submit your tax slip, so that visa officer get convinced enough that you have a job in your country. And once you will come here in Canada on a visitor purpose, you will visit the country and you will go back to your country, and then you will join your job again. So the proof of job, according to me, is very important for the people who are working. That gives your case more legitness, that gives your case more purpose, and it helps visa officer to give you visitor visa very easily. You can also submit document if you have any family dependent. So if you are coming here in Canada and you have kids back at home, then please show in the document that you got kid. So once you will come here, you have to go back because you have to take care of kids. And if you have any family member who are dependent on you, like your mother and father or grandparents, then you can also put that paper in your file, because that shows you have a very great tie-ups in the family member and you have to take care of them. And if they are ill, they are seriously ill, or they are doing a regular medication or regular checkups, you can put that paper in the file that you have to go back to your country because you have to help your grandparents or your parents or your family member. The next document is PCC, which is Police Clearance Certificate. This document plays a very important role to convince visa officer that you have not done any criminal activity in your country and your background is clear. So that certificate is very important, and there is a special section to submit that document when you apply for a visitor permit. So the next document is invitation letter. Invitation letter plays a very important role if somebody is hosting you in Canada and they're inviting you. Because if somebody is inviting you, they have to release invitation letter for you. And they have to mention the purpose in the invitation letter why they're inviting you. For example, if in your family some marriage is going on in Canada and they want you to join with them, then they have to write the purpose. Or I have seen many students who invite their parent during their graduation ceremony. So they have to write in the invitation letter what is the purpose of invitation. And as well as if they are supporting you financially, then they have to submit those financial documents as I told, T4s, tax slips, and other documents which shows like that person who is inviting you can bear your expenses as well as their expenses. The next document is very important for the people who are coming here in Canada just for visiting the country and they do not have any connection in Canada and they are just going to visit few places in Canada. In that case, you have to submit the cover letter and you have to show your intention, what's your purpose. In that cover letter, I would say just mention all the things which you're gonna do here in Canada. For example, if you're coming in Canada, you're gonna visit Toronto Tower, you're gonna go to Niagara Falls, then maybe you are going to Montreal City for visiting a beautiful European architecture, and then maybe you will go to Gaspésie to visit the Atlantic Ocean, a very beautiful view. So you have to mention all the dates and your planning. Maybe you can think some ahead of the game. Book some Airbnb, and in Airbnb you can cancel your reservation before 3 days or 4 days, so that's okay. Even if you don't want to stay on those Airbnb, you can cancel before coming here, and if you want to stay somewhere else. But that's give your case more authenticity and more foundation that helps visa officer to know what's your intention and what you're going to do here in Canada when you're going to come on a tourist visa where you do not have any connection. So please make a very good cover letter and mention all your intentions and all your priorities and all your plans to come here in Canada, and mention all the dates when you are going to come and what's your plan, which all are the places you're gonna visit, and when you are planning to exit the Canada. So those things which you're gonna mention on cover letter helps Canadian visa officer to know exactly why you are coming here. They exactly gonna know what's your purpose, and then they get convinced enough, and then they're gonna release the visa for you. Now the next thing is your passport validity. This is not that important, but it's very critical. For example, if your passport is going to expire in next 1 year or in next 6 months, there will be a chance of rejection. So I would say just make sure your passport have enough length of validity so that it do not raise any question to the mind of visa officer. Make sure it has validity minimum of 3-4 years, so that when you are applying for visitor visa, you are doing so much for applying visitor visa and you are putting so much efforts on the table so that your visitor visa get approved. And at the end, if you have only 6 months or 1 year validity of the passport, that makes no sense. So if your passport is expiring soon, make sure you get renew it, and that gonna help you to get the visitor visa of Canada at a maximum length. The next document is going to be application for TRV or temporary visa, which we're gonna look at the practical video of this visitor visa. So you have to fill basic information in that application, and then you have to upload on the immigration website. The next 3 documents are pretty common, which everybody knows nowadays, is that you have to go through the medical test, and when you go through the medical test, they will give you one document which you need to upload into the immigration website so that they can verify you do not have any big disease and do not have any threat to their country when you come here in Canada. Number 2 is your passport size photo. So they have a special specification, so I will tell you all these details when I'm gonna come on the practical video of tourist visa or visitor visa. Number third, the document is identity card. So if you are applying for Canadian tourist visa, then you have to submit one of the identity card of your own country, which is released by your country. The another thing which is very important, I think I forget to tell, is that if somebody is inviting you, then you have to make sure you have to submit their status document along with your application. Which mean is that if somebody is inviting me and they are on work permit, so I have to submit their work permit copy along with my application so that visa officer can see the person who is inviting you, what's their status in Canada. And if somebody is inviting me and they are permanent resident or citizenship, then I have to submit their permanent resident card copy or citizenship copy along with my application. Or even if you are inviting your parents and you are student visa, then you have to submit your student visa copy along with the application. So these all are the document. The next thing is when you have collected all these documents and uploaded in the IRCC website, then you have to pay the fees. The fees varies, from time to time, so I cannot tell exact fees because it changes every time. So when we gonna do the practical video of this visitor permit, then we gonna see how much fees we have to pay. The next step is biometric request. So once you will submit your application and the fees, then after a few days or a few months, depending on the processing time, you will get a request of biometric. You have to do that, and then once you will done with your biometric, then you will get a passport request. So if you will get a passport request, which means your visa is approved, there is no problem at all, and you have to send your passport for stamping. And once you will get the stamping, then you can visit Canada at any time and you can book the tickets for Canada. In next video, I am going to tell practically how to file your visitor visa by yourself. So please don't forget to watch that video. That video gonna train you to apply visitor permit by yourself. So till the time the next video comes, stay safe and be healthy, be in shape. See you in next video.